So Kaylee and I don't review board games much at all, but I definitely would like to start since I do own so many
So many.
uh,
So many.
horror-themed board games based on popular horror franchises or not. But of course, I want to stick to the you know themed ones for now. Starting with the Friday the 13th Horror at Camp Crystal Lake, a board game. This is the first time we played it. We played it last night and finished it off this morning. It is a very simplistic game, which is wonderful because I am a dummy when it comes to board games. When things get too complicated, I get so lost. I really don't have fun if I'm sitting there the whole time, like trying to figure things out.
Yeah, and I don't think anybody
It's
does.
super confusing, and I just don't get it. I tried to read the Shining instructions for the board game, and I was so lost. Yeah, I don't know. But this one, super simplistic.
Yes.
And honestly, a lot of fun.
Tons
And
of fun.
the more people you can play it with, the better. It is 3 to 6 players. Recommended 6 players. We played it with 4, but it would have definitely been better with 6. Now, inside, we've got, of course, the instruction manuals. We've got,
Yikes.
we got some cards. These are supply cards, along with character tokens. You've got 6 tropey archetype characters that are going to be shown here in a minute on these player mats, which are double as Jason masks. You've got the partier. You've got the final girl. You've got the nerd, the jock, the nice guy, and the diva. So you can play as one of these characters. Now, there is no advantage to playing as any one of these characters. It's not like anyone has any special attributes that you acquire,
No.
which is kind of a downside to the game, honestly. Most games that have different characters to play as, like this, that have their own, specific names and whatever identities, they usually come with some kind of ability. Like this person can pick up 2 things and this person can move 2 spaces, they're faster or whatever. That's not the case. Everyone is on a completely even playing field. And this is a supply resourcing game, right? It's a scavenger hunt essentially, right? What do you think of the game?
I had a lot of fun with it. I think it's a really cool game. Like you said, it's really simplistic, very easy to learn. And I like the design of all the pieces. I found that it was just not overwhelming. There's definitely some board games out there that I played or that we've played together too that I'm like, I get overwhelmed by the amount of pieces and things that you need to do. But I think that this had the perfect amount of tasks and activities that you can do within the game itself, and it moved along really nicely. So
we played this with my twin daughters who are 9 years old, and they got it no problem at all. So if you can't get it, you're a moron, is basically what I'm saying.
Yep.
Unless you're under 9. If you're watching this and you're under 9, I apologize. You're not an idiot, but your parents are. Now, these are also supposed to be with those. I don't know what those are in there. Right?
There's a couple different types of cards.
So now, but those are...
Yeah, these are supposed to be in here.
So now these are your backpacks where you can keep extra stuff, and it also tells you how many supplies there are. This is the supply bag, and inside you've got different tokens. You got a flashlight, you've got a frying pan, you've got, there's a hatchet, and there is gasoline and such. And also in here, there are Jason tokens, and these are the ones you're trying to avoid. So you're going to keep your hand in this bag a lot Probably 90% of the game is played inside this bag with you just kind of drawing things at random, and you pick one out, boom, you got the frying pan, right? And then you play it, and that's your move. Or you can use a card, what were they called?
These are fear cards.
Fear cards. And you can use those to your advantage. Now, the game is played over 5 rounds, which are, shown as knights. So this is the game board, which, you don't get much of a game board, right? This isn't some big fold-out game board like you would typically see in a typical board game. It's a very small little Camp Crystal Lake sign, little piece of paper, very easy to rip, so be careful with this thing. And this has knights 1 through 5. There's 2 different difficulties of the game. There's the easy mode.
Yep.
And there is
the more advanced mode. The only difference is that there's defense fear cards. There's a different type of fear card that you can incorporate into the play if you want to have a longer, more advanced game. And the game that we played, we did not play with the defense fear cards.
No, we just wanted to make it easy. We had 2 9-year-olds and 1 illiterate board game person who, tries his best. So it's played over 5 nights. There's Jason tokens that go on here. And every night that you play, another Jason token is added to the bag, which honestly doesn't really elevate the amount of Jasons in the bag that much, in my opinion. There's a lot in there already. And just adding 1 extra one in a night doesn't seem like it's upping your odds all that much. It might go up by like 0.5%. So yeah. To me, adding 1 more Jason. Now at the end of like night 4, you have 4 more Jasons in there, so it is a little bit more, but it's just not that drastically different in my opinion. Now the people who return back to the camp first are the ones that were rewarded. And they are rewarded by collecting either specific items, which will be found on these other cards, these adventure cards, the critical supply objective, which you have a new one every night. And you're trying to find those specific items, and then you can return to camp whenever you want. But if you draw 2 Jasons during your play, you have to go back early and lose all your stuff. Now, there is a way to get rid of some Jasons or pass them on, of course, to other people and whatnot, and that's all strategized. But you go back to camp and you get some extra cards. Overall, just a really simple game and a fun one. And the way they kind of incorporated the elements of Friday the 13th, where you're camp counselor, Jason's lurking around every corner. You need supplies to survive, and you're kind of out in the woods, and if you encounter Jason, you kind of get chased back to camp. Now, there is no way to die in the game.
No.
Right? So that's kind of interesting. You would think that there would be, like, riskier things to do that could get you killed out of the game for the whole remainder of the game. But they didn't go that route, which is kind of shocking to me. If anyone's really wondering what these are, they're just point tokens, as well as some like anti-Jason like dodge tokens, which you could only have 1 per round. And you'll learn. I mean, we're not really here to teach you how the game is, just kind of give you a vague understanding of the game and see if it's up your alley.
It kind of reminds me of the Friday the 13th video game that's really popular right now, but minus the fighting Jason.
Yeah, not the NES.
No, the
Friday
new,
the 13th
the new
game.
one that everybody's really into. It's like that, but you're not really fighting Jason. You're just running from him and trying to get supplies.
Yeah, I mean, you don't fight Jason.
Fun. Yeah.
In reality, right? Well, in fictional reality.
Fictionally you don't fight him.
When you go up against Jason, you're going to lose.
Yes.
So, yeah, I mean, as I said, now it says ages 17 plus. That's just because it's dealing with horror, right? But you can play this with kids as young as 9 for sure. My kids got it, no problem, and they were begging to play it again as soon as we were done.
Yeah, there's nothing inappropriate at all in there.
Nothing, no.
There's not really even any, gory illustrations or anything. So
Now, I don't know if this game is actually still in circulation or not, or if you have to buy it, from a third-party seller on eBay or whatnot. I had a harder time finding when I was looking for it, buying it new, like on an Amazon or something. But maybe that was just out of stock. I don't know. So you can look. I paid maybe $30 for it, $25 for it. Totally worth it, in my opinion. So if you can find it in that price range, this is a really cool one to just throw on, on the table with some friends, and it's a quick, easy, set up and play.
Yeah.
Which is great, right? Because no one wants to sit there and learn the rules for an hour and kill the mood. You can explain this game so fast. You can be in, and it kind of feels like gambling.
Yes.
Right, where you're digging through that thing, and you're just like, no, not adjacent. You play, and you pass it over, and you try to screw everybody by giving them Jasons. So, a really cool game.
Yeah.
A really cool, simplistic game. Definitely a couple missed opportunities, in my opinion. No... special abilities by the characters that kind of go with their archetypes. Not a ton of thought was put into the game, but sometimes people overdo it. Yeah. They're trying to do too much, and they kind of shoot themselves in the foot a bit, and they lose themselves. And we have another one we want to talk about, not tonight, but we played a Shining board game, kind of a mystery adventure game, which we hated, and we'll talk about that. It's not the Shining board game; it is the Shining, Escape from the Overlook, by the same company, by OP.
Oh, interesting.
Makes this as well. They did a much better job on this.
I think we talked a little bit about the Shining board game when we were discussing their Blair Witch Escape. The Hunt to Killer Blair Witch box.
Yeah, which we will talk about that again when we finish it. We get so sidetracked by everything we're trying to do. It's kind of insane. Speaking of which, we need to get to another video. So let us know if you've ever played this game. Let us know if you pick it up. We're not trying to sell it to you. There's no link. We're not getting any money by you buying it. I don't even think it's in print. So we just had a good time. We thought we'd talk about it. It's Friday the 13th. Why the hell not? Yeah. And moving on. Let us know. Bye.